A new female alternate version of a major villain has recently been introduced, which means it's time to talk about all our favorites from over the years. But we will kick things off with the new addition debuting in Batman Caped Crusader is Oswalda Cobblepot, the Penguin. This is definitely a turn of events since the Penguin is almost always depicted as a man. So of course, people had questions. The show's creators shared in an interview with the Emmys that they decided to do the gender swap for a few reasons. One was they were feeling a little stuck when it came to the Penguin, not really knowing what to do with the character in the show. That, combined with wanting to introduce more female villains, led to the idea of a gender swap. Apparently, after that hit the drawing board, the ideas just started flowing. Minnie Driver, who voices Oswalda, shared her excitement at the new version of the character, especially the fact that she is a mother and a psychopathic criminal at the same time. Some people aren't as happy with the change, but for the most part, people seem to be more upset that they decided to go with a name like Oswalda for the character instead of something like Odessa or related. Misery was created using Carnage and Anti-Venom, and that means she has a very, very powerful healing factor, considering the two are always trying to destroy each other. She was created by Alchemex because they wanted to weaponize the strains from the Sims they had captured. Of course, there was a scuffle that resulted in the Misery sample bonding with Liz Allen, a scientist working on the project. It made her look awesome. No way around that. Scary, but awesome. Misery is red and white and has sharp limbs coming out of her back. Her healing factor is so powerful, she is easily able to fuse herself back together after being literally cut in half. Adeline Stern is Scarecrow for Batman Beyond, that is. Stern is from Neo Gotham, which is Gotham City but set in the not too distant future. So Bruce Wayne is alive, but he's old, and Terry McGinnis has taken over the Batman mantle. Which also means a lot of the classic Batman villains are taken over by other people, and in this case, Adeline Stern is the Scarecrow. Jonathan Crane actually kind of created her. When she was a kid, she watched her dad lose a fight to Batman, Bruce, and it was traumatizing. She received treatment, it just happened to be from one of Crane's disciples, so she actually ended up even more traumatized and hating Batman. This carried through her adult life. She viewed Batman as a demon that needed to be eradicated. Important to note, 1, Adeline's not unhinged in her day-to-day life, she's actually a news anchor. And 2, future Gotham is covered in technology. AI home systems, massive screens everywhere, it's almost impossible to not be close to some form of technology. The OG Scarecrow used fear gas, but Adeline puts a modern spin on that and instead hacks all the tech in the city, even the systems in people's houses, and has them send subliminal messages that Batman is evil. And since everyone in Gotham is surrounded by tech, it causes all of them to attack Batman at once. It's not until Bruce Wayne can jam the signal that Terry even stands a chance at winning. Adeline was very clever for using fear signals because it affected literally everyone: Gordon, Terry's brother, even Bruce Wayne. People that have intimate knowledge on how to beat Batman. At the end of the day, Adeline was a traumatized person coping in an unhealthy way and was sent to Arkham Asylum. Marvel fans had their own version of the Penguin situation back in 2018 with the shocking reveal that Doc Ock was a woman in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And honestly, it was awesome. Olivia Octavius is just as cool and ruthless and intelligent as the male version of herself. This change was welcomed by Spider-Man fans considering it was just so well done. The decision to change Otto to Olivia stemmed from real life. Co-director of the film, Rodney Rothman, shared on Twitter that co-director Bob Persichetti is friends with Kathryn Hahn, Olivia's voice actress, in real life because of their kids. And it seems that the kids had a big effect on the movie as a whole. Rothman also shared that his son was so upset Peter B didn't get to eat the bagel that he made his dad storyboard the scene for him. And sadly, it did not make it into the movie. Lady Bullseye was inspired into her life of crime by Bullseye himself. As a girl, Lady Bullseye was imprisoned and headed for bad things, but luckily Bullseye came in to save the day, slaying her captors, and in the process, inspiring her to escape and learn to become a weapon herself. As a note though, Bullseye wasn't actually there to save anyone, he was on an errand. This was a surprise side effect. Despite having no superpowers, Lady Bullseye is still a force to be reckoned with, a master of many different martial arts and skilled in weaponry. She found herself in New York while working for The Hand and framed Daredevil for a pretty serious crime. She also attacked Kingpin, taking out his family. She eventually joined the Masters of Evil West Coast and Baron Zemo's Army of Evil, so she's really building her brand here. Back in 2022, she pledged allegiance to the Punisher after he became leader of The Hand and took someone out with the power of the Beast. And according to Marvel Encyclopedia New Edition, Lady Bullseye is faster than Bullseye. Red Skull had a kid, and she took after her father. Her name is Cynthia Schmidt. Her villain name is Sin, obviously. Her dad is messed up. That is not news. He proved he is a horrible dad, though. He accelerated his daughter's growth and gave her superpowers after she spent her childhood being raised by one of his followers and indoctrinated with his ideals. He also never wanted her, so that's fun. Sin became the leader of the criminal group Sisters of Sin. They were often depicted fighting against Captain America. She was responsible for his passing in Captain America Volume 5. She also held Black Widow and Sam Wilson hostage once. Sin was recently defeated in Avengers Assemble Volume 3 Issue 1 as she literally disintegrated. She was adamant that hate would live on. All in all, the rotten apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Martha Wayne's Joker. And that's it. That's the whole sentence. In the alternate timeline known as Flashpoint, Batman's mom became the Joker and Batman's dad, Thomas, became the Caped Crusader. And that happened because the guy who ended the life of them in the main timeline ended Bruce's life in the Flashpoint timeline. Turns out Bruce's parents take his passing about as well as he took theirs, if not worse. Martha Wayne was obviously super depressed for months after the incident, and therapy wasn't working really well. And then her husband encouraged her to please move on because it had been months and he missed her smile. Maybe not the perfect thing to say to her in her state, because when Thomas was out, she gave herself a Glasgow smile so she would always be smiling, and boom, new Joker. Overall, the concept of Batman's mom being Joker is really interesting, and it makes sense now why the Batman is so reluctant to take the Joker out, even after all the terrible things they do. That has always been a point of confusion for people. The Joker is deranged and evil, so why can't Batman take him out for good? If the Joker is or was the love of his life for real, there's stakes there. Martha's Joker was equally as deranged as the Joker we are used to seeing. Kidnapping people, she attacked Batman's sidekick, ended Gordon, and eventually finds her end falling into an underground cave. Now this might be a shock, but I like Disney princesses. I know, you could probably never tell from looking at me, but all my dreams came true in Edge of Spider-Verse Volume 2 Issue 4 when they took Spider-Man characters and inserted them into a Disney fairy tale. Obviously, everybody slayed, but I really loved Fairy Godmother, aka the female fairy tale Green Goblin that has popped in to help Princess Petra get to the ball. Godmother's name is Norma, and she really only helped the princess because the goblin's crystal orb was stolen by the queen, and she wanted Petra to get it back from her mom. She gave the princess powers and also a beautiful dress that I am foaming at the mouth for, and set her on her way. 10 out of 10 story, absolutely no notes. Also featured a female version of Mysterio. It was the queen, the mysterious empress. Magneto hails from Earth 982, the one where everything pretty much happened 15 years before it did on Earth 616. Magneto is and isn't Magneto. She has the same powers as him, powers of magnetism, but she is his predecessor. Her Earth had a Magneto, but now he's out of the picture. She believed in the core of Magneto's ideas, but that his arrogance often threw everything off, so she was going to be the one with the power, charisma, and the ability to actually reach the top. She pulled together her own sisterhood of mutants and considered herself the most powerful of the new generation of heroes. Galacta has one of the oddest origins, and that is saying something when it comes to comic books. She is technically Galactus's daughter on Earth 610102, kind of. So she was a parasite, kind of like a tapeworm that manifested in Galactus, eventually growing up to be separate from him, but still a powerful cosmic being. She is like a less evil version of him since she doesn't eat planets, instead opting for consuming the non-native organisms that sneak their way onto Earth, thus protecting us from the problems that stem from invasive species, so thank you for that. She makes herself appear as a regular human teen and has helped out the Fantastic Four in the past. She eventually started growing her own parasite that made her hunger start to control her, but she proved she still wanted to be good, desperately searching for a cure, and instead finding out how she came into the world along the way. We all love Gwen Stacy and Maddie Parker, but what about the Cinderella or the Fairy Spider-Woman? They deserve a moment in the spotlight too, and that is exactly what we are here to do right now. So 10, Spinstress. She is my favorite spider variant. I've talked about her so many times on this channel, and we are back at it again. She is literally Spider-Man but Cinderella, and her ball gown is a thing of dreams. A stunning twist on the classic Spider-Man myth, Petra brings a vibrant musical energy to the hero. Petra Parker got her spider powers from her fairy godmother so she could attend the ball and save her city, but there's of course a catch. She loses them at midnight or she loses the ability to ever find love. And you can guess which choice she's stuck with. 9. White Widow. This is not Yelena. This White Widow was part of a fan movement turned canon. After the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, fans started creating their own Spider-Sonas. Marvel contacted some fans to showcase their Spider-Sonas in Spider-Verse Volume 3, and it was a really cool project, and many of those Sonas are now featured on this list, including White Widow. In addition to normal spider powers, she can coat herself, her webs, and gloves in toxins that she produces at will. 8. Spinster. Like Spinstress, Spinster also wears a really nice dress. She existed as a noblewoman in the era of the French Revolution, and her special spider ability is tied to her hair. Her hair is her webbing. She can extend it as far as she wants because the vibrations on the webs allow her to eavesdrop on conversations. I do wonder though that if this means she can feel whenever that someone like breaks her webbing, and I imagine that's probably not pleasant. But 7. Garden Spider. I know that I said Cinderella Spider-Woman was my favorite, but Garden Spider is a really close second. She's shrunk down to bug size. Petunia Parker spends her days living in her old garden, caring for her plants, living in her old watering can, and fighting off the villainous aphid. I imagine that she must have some sort of plant-based power because her flowers are doing really well for being cared for by someone who is less than 3 apples tall. Though little, she packs a serious punch and can take down villains nearly 10 times her size. 6. Star Spider. The Spider-Woman in space. Persephone Parker is Star Spider from Earth 1978, debuting in Edge of Spider-Verse 3. An apprentice to Professor Osborna, Persephone has her hands full juggling her quantum engineering internship, a secret relationship with Osborn's daughter, and of course her spider heroics. Assisted by and with an outfit created from nanobot Shi'ar technology called Spiders, Star Spider was able to fend off Octavius and the Kree army that were trying to invade her home. 5. Ren. Ren is Canadian, but she lives in Japan. Her unique extra power is the ability to control emotions. This stems from her desire to control her own emotions, often feeling extreme sadness. So now she can utilize this power to create extreme emotions in opponents to throw them off and give her an edge in battle. Her costume is reminiscent of the neon signs that light up Japan's night sky. 4. Cobweb. Okay, Fairy Spider-Man. Technically, she is a Seelie and based her Seelie glamour on Spider-Man, whom she is a big fan of. Me too, girl. She helped Spider-Man and friends save their friend in Central Park, and Spidey gave her his blessing to join the Spider Legacy as Spider Sprite. Cobweb has wings and spits her webbing from her mouth, which is such a choice, but you know, I'm not making it. 3. Web Witch. You can probably guess what additional abilities Web Witch is working with. After learning how to navigate the web of life and destiny, Maeve Z further developed her sorcery to carry cards capable of summoning any spider hero she has encountered across the multiverse. Each card bears the symbols of the spider person, and anytime she finds a world in peril, she just calls upon the right hero for the job. 2. Dream Spider. Crystal was friends with Peter Parker, and when the Peter of her world destroyed his dream construct, the fragments connected with Crystal, turning her into a spider person with dream-related powers, including access to the dream dimension and the ability to alter dreams. And a bonus addition, because she's like a ballerina puppet master Spider-Man, and leaving her off this list is a crime that I am not willing to commit. Spider Requiem, or Paula Mina Swan, first name inspired by the Greek muse of dance and last name likely Swan Lake. In addition to the usual spider powers, she has the ability to control these like puppets that she makes. Based on her spider name, I am inclined to believe that there is something supernatural and underworldly about those puppets. And finally, number 1, Spinner. Cassandra Kelly doesn't just have spider powers, she also got a boost from the goddess Athena. Really, the goddess was the one who blessed Spinner with her spider powers, in addition to clairvoyance, as you can see with the third eye on her suit, and the ability to weave light. Welcome back, nerds. Today we get into the iconic Harley Quinn and all of her many personalities across the DC universes. 10. The Batman 2004 TV series. The general consensus is that this Harley is absolutely adorable, at least her design is. Her actions are a little bit insane. But this is the version of her that was a TV star turned criminal. She hosted the talk show Heart to Heart with Harley, which is so iconic, and also the reason that she ended up meeting the Joker as he was a fan of that show. Some DC fans aren't super fond of this version because Harley can be like a little bit ditzy at times, and fans complain because her original origin is that she has like an actual degree, but that is just why she's high up on this list. I still think she's pretty cute. But 9. DC Black Label's Joker. This version of Harley actually became the Joker after the Clown Prince of Crime passed away. Listen, she looks great doing it, she was clearly off the deep end, and honestly captured the essence of chaos that comes with that green hairdo. However, she did attempt to intimately overpower Batman, which is disgusting, so she does sit high up on this this list. 8. Dark Knights of Steel. This whole run is now a classic for good reason, but I love that Harley is actually a court jester in this setting and not just like a criminal cosplaying the idea. Her relationship with Ivy proves very useful as well, and it's also really cute. Many fans have also said that they're fans of this version of Harley being pretty separate from the Joker. 7. Old Harley Quinn. The DCAU one, yes of course, but she's actually coming later. This is the old Harley from Harley Quinn Volume 342. New York's future is apocalyptic to say the least, and despite Harley's advanced age, she is still rocking her iconic outfit and looking sick while doing it. Despite being a one-off, the issue is quite popular among fans. 6. Future's End. This is also the Harley Quinn that tried to ship herself to the Bahamas, but then her plane went down and she ended up on an island and convinced the island's inhabitants to worship her. Then she almost got thrown into a volcano, but didn't, and then 5 years later, she turned up completely jacked from Venom. This Harley did not make it out of Future's End, unfortunately, but wow, did she really go through a lot. 5. Telltale Harley, specifically the second game. I stumbled across this version and people seem to really love her, and it's not hard to see why. This version actually uses her degree. She is a manipulative mastermind running her own crew. She's also the one that takes the John Doe of this universe and molds him into the Joker. It kind of sounds like Joker 2, but better. 4. Future State. Future State as a whole was pretty cool, but this Harley utilized 100% of her brain, from the degree to the many years spent in Gotham's criminal world, to successfully bring in some of its top criminals. Fans appreciated that this version of Harley Quinn was actually intelligent and very insane. The design of this Harley is also just really neat. 3. Harley Quinn, the animated series. I mean, yeah, like this Harley was going to make the top 3. Her show is wildly popular for her and its unique and mature take on the DC universe. Fans praise the series for being funny and just camp enough to not be too over the top. The chemistry between Harley and Ivy is also really well done. Number 2, Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. Robbie has attached herself to this character for life. From this point forward, she is the live-action blueprint. Fans generally prefer the Birds of Prey and second 2021 SS Harley to the 2016 version of the character, as she was treated more seriously in those later movies, and more like a character than simply insane eye candy. It helps that Robbie is a talented actress with a particular talent at pulling heartstrings and making even the worst lines work. And finally, number 1, the DCAU Harley. Of all of the many Harleys, people love this version. Some of that might be nostalgia, but also this was the first time that Harley Quinn's story hit the public consciousness in a big way, so it's kind of the blueprint in reality when you think about it. Welcome back, nerds. Today we are looking at your favorite superheroes in a whole new light. 10. Garden Spider. She is a Spider-Man variant and so cute I could cry. Garden Spider was part of a fan movement made canon. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse fans started creating their own Spider-Sonas. Marvel loved it and contacted some fans to showcase their Spider-Sonas in Spider-Verse Volume 3. Petunia Parker was one of them. Petunia was shrunk to bug size and now spends her day living in her watering can and caring for her old garden. She must have some sort of extra plant-based powers because her flowers are doing really well for being cared for by like a tiny little fairy. Though she is little, she packs a serious punch and can take down villains nearly 10 times her size. 9. Wolverina, or Logana. In her words, what I do might not be pretty, but I do it the prettiest. She was part of Marvel's What The series and joined the Marvel universe when Wolverine needed a day off, so it's pretty clear you're not meant to take her too seriously. 8. Superwoman of Earth 11. This gender-swapped version of Clark Kent has a very similar history, falling in love with Lois Lane, visiting her Fortress of Tranquility, and working with her teammates on the Justice Guild. Fans were introduced to the variant when she was taken by the prophecies to steal her powers, ultimately freed by the Justice Incarnate. 7. Samantha Wilson, the Captain America of Earth 65. In her world, she became the first African-American female pilot to receive a commission as a pilot in the US Civil Air Patrol. She continued to make history after going through the super soldier serum process. However, her story deviated from what fans are used to when she was trapped outside of her universe after an interdimensional gateway was destroyed. So instead of being trapped in ice for 75 years, she was forced to wander through various realities until she could find her way back. After getting her feet back in her own universe, she got right back to fighting the good fight despite the crushing guilt and confusion of her new world. 6. The Drowned, a Batman variant from the dark gender-swapped Earth 11. Bryce Wayne went insane after her lover Sylvester Kyle passed in the hands of rogue metahumans. She single-handedly took down all metahumans on Earth in about 18 months, and then shortly after that went to war with Atlantis, modified her own body to breathe underwater to win that war, and win it she did. The entire Earth ended up underwater and presumably with no survivors literally anywhere. In the end, this bat joined the Batman Who Laughs and took on the new name, the Drowned. 5. Starbolt. Summer Scott is Earth 80827's Cyclops. She was recruited to Force X by Emma Frost and has all the same abilities as her 616 counterpart. Her universe is pretty different though. Gambit is the son of Sue Storm and Namor. Emma Frost is more of a Professor X character, and Rogue comes from wealth and privilege. It's an interesting take on the famous team. 4. Natasha Stark, the Iron Woman of Earth 3490. This world never experienced the heartaches of Marvel's Civil War because instead of fighting Captain America, the pair simply fell in love instead, left them to bicker over their wedding arrangements instead of the fate of superheroes worldwide. 3. Sylvie of the MCU's Loki. Just thought I'd shake it up and head to the big screen. Sylvie shook the Marvel fandom when it was revealed that she was a female variant of everyone's favorite anti-hero, Loki. She is also part of the funniest MCU plot possible. The only person that Loki has ever, in MCU canon, fallen in love with is technically himself. Despite her mysterious ways, Sylvie quickly won over audiences and had people rooting for her despite some of her less savory actions. 2. Lady Deadpool. Of course she's on the list. She might just be the most famous female variant out there. Wanda Wilson debuted in the comics in 2010 and the movies just last year. Her creator revealed that she was slightly based on Blake Lively in Gossip Girl, which is so full circle considering that Blake Lively played the anti-hero in Deadpool and Wolverine, partly thanks to her husband starring as the lead, of course.
Alternate realities give comic book writers the ability to do anything they want with their characters, including gender swapping, and it's always an interesting time when it happens. Take Captain Carter for example. If you've seen the Marvel Studios What If show or the Multiverse of Madness movie, you know alternate versions of Peggy Carter get the super soldier serum in place of Steve Rogers. Fans love this idea, even if it's strange for a British agent to become Captain America. There are a few different versions of Captain Carter to choose from, but they all generally share the same abilities. There was a version of the character appearing in Exiles #3 in 2018 who had a great costume. The one in the Disney Plus show joined the Guardians of the Multiverse, so she was clearly an exceptional version of the character. She has shown up in the cinematic universe sporting a jetpack and was able to give the Scarlet Witch a surprising run for her money, while other more powerful characters were felled pretty much instantly. She can be a bit more hot-headed than her Steve Rogers counterpart, but she has the power of fan love, and if you know anything about what that power can do, you know that Peggy Carter as Captain America is powerful. Also, definitely check out her series if you get the chance. That takes place on Earth 76. But from one alternate Captain America to another, on Earth 15061, Danielle Cage, the daughter of both Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, would eventually become the Captain America of her time. But this girl has much more going for her than Peggy does. Even though we all love you, Peggy, I'm sorry. Because let's be honest and think about this for a second. Thanks to her parentage, Danielle Cage has the subsonic flight and superhuman longevity of her mother, with the bulletproof skin of her father, plus the superhuman strength, durability, stamina, speed, and healing factor of both of them. Yeah, Danielle Cage doesn't just use the shield of Captain America, she is the shield, as she likes to say. She is an awesome Captain America. She arguably does not even need her shield, which is a controllable drone replica of the original one. Unfortunately, we don't really get to see much of this version of Danielle Cage, but we know Danielle is a force to be reckoned with, and as such, she is a Captain America who deserves to be on this list. Moving on though, Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, is the Gwen Stacy from the alternate reality of Earth 65. In this reality, it is Gwen Stacy, not Peter Parker, who gets bitten by a genetically engineered super spider. This bite granted her superhuman strength, speed, toughened flesh, and pretty much all the spider-based powers that the regular Spider-Man would possess. But after she is depowered by Cindy Moon, Ghost Spider bonded with the Venom symbiote, becoming Gwenom, which after she learned how to control it gave her all the regular symbiote powers, plus obviously some even more awesome Venom powers. She is another fan favorite alternate spider hero, and as such has featured in tons of stories. But if you're looking for something to read where Ghost Spider is featured, I suggest Edge of Spider-Verse, where she first appeared, and her own self-titled comic series Spider-Gwen Volume 1 from 2015. 2015. Next up is Wanda Wilson. Wanda Wilson is the Deadpool of Earth 3010, but since she is one of a very few female Deadpools, she naturally is titled Ladypool. Now Ladypool joined the side of a group of rebels fighting against loyalists in the United States in her own universe, that were led by Ladypool's nemesis, General America. Now according to Wanda, the fight started when fascists in the federal government started to impose their will on the people. As a result, a schism in Congress occurred, generals took sides, and states declared independence, which led to the current predicament. I never thought this video would get political. Eventually, she is assisted by 616 Deadpool, and she ends up becoming a main part of the good Deadpool Corps, and eventually she becomes the leader of the group, sacrificing herself and the Corps ship in a fight against the evil Deadpool Corps and Galactus Pool. But stepping back into the Earth 616 reality for a sec, and looking at the time that Peter Quill stepped away from his role of Star-Lord to become Emperor of the Spartax Empire, the empire of his father and the reason for him being near immortal and superhuman and all that jazz. When he did that, Kitty Pryde, who if you don't know had a bit of a thing with Peter at the time and was hanging with the Guardians of the Galaxy, took over the role of Star-Lord in his place. Her mutant powers and her insane level of capability obviously put her a cut above a half Spartax and instantly made her one of the most powerful versions of Star-Lord ever. That's not to mention her intelligence and skill as an engineer, plus her mutant buddies also helped her to become uniquely gifted. Kitty Pryde is a pretty powerful mutant in Marvel Comics, but while with the Guardians of the Galaxy, she even became cosmically powerful thanks to the Black Vortex. Kitty Pryde is an awesome character who has honestly become scary capable with the Fall of X storyline. I really hope we get to see her in the MCU soon, and who knows, maybe they will touch on this little relationship too, maybe, I don't know. Now thankfully, Jane Foster as Thor has happened in the true 616 continuity, and it was really awesome. But for this point, we're gonna talk about What If number 10, and it's quite a bit different. In this timeline, it is Jane Foster who picks up the Hammer of Mjolnir for the first time, not Donald Blake. In this story, Jane accompanies Dr. Blake on his trip to Norway, and when he drops his cane into a ravine, like he normally does, she goes down there to get it for him instead. Striking the stick just like Donald Blake did, she becomes Thordis. Wielding the power of Thor, Thordis fights off the Saturn rock people and then turns the cane that she seems to have stolen from Donald Blake into a hairbrush to better fit in with her feminine alter ego, because I guess men don't use hairbrushes. She has pretty much the same adventures as Thor, but crucially, she is rejected by Odin for not being a man. This tracks all the way until the events of Ragnarok, when Odin decides to give the hammer back to Donald Blake because he just can't accept Jane as Thor. But then, as thanks for her time as the hero, Odin turns Jane into a different god and then marries her. Odin has always been kind of weird like that, so we're not surprised, but still a little strange. Next up is Earth 999, a world where basically every single person has powers, things have gone apocalyptic, and where the daughter of Peter Parker, May Parker, is Venom. While her retired and cynical pops ain't too thrilled about that, she does actually have complete control over her symbiote thanks to her advanced and honed spider sense. She was eventually under the control of this kid who went by the name of the Red Skull, and thanks to her father and other Earth X classic heroes, she was saved, with Venom and her father, Spider-Man, going on to join the superpowered police force and fight crime and supervillain threats together. She eventually, after the passing of Death, was recruited by Kang the Conqueror as part of a multiversal team to fight the Apocalypse Twins. In addition to her proportional spider powers, plus the enhanced spider sense, she gains all the usual symbiote powers, plus a few extra, like what seems to be a rudimentary form of telepathy, and she kind of has a huge amount of potential to become even more powerful if Marvel decides to. She's definitely one of the cooler incarnations of Venom, as are most characters in the Earth X world. But moving on from that one, the Legion of Night comes from a world where Mr. Sinister corrupted the genomes of those who underwent the mutant resurrection protocols on Krakoa in the new Krakoan age. Because of that, Sinister's control over humanity and mutantdom became pretty much supreme. Now, one of his experiments was combining the genetics of different mutants to create powerful chimeras to to serve him, and it made for some pretty crazy awesome comic book moments. A particularly special project was turning the genes of Nightcrawler into a band of teleporting assassins. But this Legion of Night, while having leadership in the form of Sinister's female clone, Mother Righteous, also had field leaders. But one of them was Mr. Sinister's favorite Nightcrawler chimera, Wagnerine. Mixing the DNA of both Nightcrawler and Wolverine, Wagnerine was funnily enough more of a mix of Laura Kinney, X-23, and Nightcrawler, and she made for an excellent assassin and leader for Mother Righteous once she had been freed from the control of Mr. Sinister. Wagnerine ended up beating the odds and procreating with the Cyclops Nightcrawler, aka Summer Knight, to create a golden mutant teleporter who seemingly teleported to a random location immediately after her birth, causing Summer Knight to lose control of himself and fall victim to the influence of Sinister once again. Eventually, it was revealed that Mother Righteous had actually taken the child, and when that was revealed to Wagnerine, she defected. Now fast forward 900 years later, and she was finally able to bring down Mother Righteous and go on to try and live a happy life with her baby. Moving on, in the alternate Earth M reality, the Silver Surfer finds Earth for Galactus to consume like he normally does, but he quickly decides to protect the planet from his master once he sees how many people live here, and he attacks Galactus instead. In return, Galactus quickly overpowers him, grows frustrated in the Surfer's resistance to him, and banishes him to Earth. Galactus decides that he wants to convince the Silver Surfer to return to him, so he is convinced to create a female being named Ardina from his technological matrix with the DNA of Surfer's old flame, Shalabal. Her role was to attract the Surfer and convince him that the people of Earth are not worth saving. However, they both fall in love with each other, and Ardina vows to be by the Surfer's side in his fight against Galactus. Seeing that his plan has failed, Galactus reabsorbs her back into the Galactus Matrix and erases her from existence, instead offering to spare Earth if the Surfer decides to come back to be his herald. Now, in the main 616 continuity, Ardina was created as basically a clone of Surfer himself, using a ritually prepared dagger to do so. In both cases though, Ardina has access to the exact same energies as the Silver Surfer. She could use the power cosmic, and even though she was technically a newborn, she had the potential to be just as powerful as the Surfer himself. And last up today, it's Shuri the Black Panther. The sister of King T'Challa of Wakanda, Shuri has for a long time wanted to be the first female Black Panther. After her brother helped train her to be able to do just that, and following her brother becoming incapacitated thanks to the inheritor Morlun, she got that wish. And the best part is that it happened in the main 616 continuity. Shuri became Queen of Wakanda and the next Black Panther, and her brother even refused to fully take the title back at first upon his recovery. During her rule as Black Panther, she would constantly come into conflict with splinter groups of Wakandans and with Namor and his Kingdom of Atlantis, but it turns out that almost everything was influenced by Dr. Doom, because of course it was. Eventually, her brother would come back to help her out against Doom and take over again as king, giving Shuri the opportunity to train under other heroes like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Khazar. After the Phoenix Five showed up, she helped heroes come to Wakanda for safety before it was attacked by the Phoenix-powered Namor, and then a bit later during the incursions, her and her brother would launch attacks on Atlantis, all while T'Challa and Namor were working together in the Illuminati. A fact that would lead her to oust her brother to take the throne and Black Panther title yet again. But then the multiverse went completely belly up and all that didn't matter anymore.
Number 10. Stained Glass Scarlet. Stained Glass Scarlet is a young god who came into existence following her own death. That is, following the death of her mortal self, Scarlet Fasanera. Scarlet had a tragic and rough life, filled with mistreatment by the men who she would have likely expected to trust the most. After her death in the same church where both her son and her husband also lost their lives, her story spread, gaining power. This power allowed Scarlet to return as a young goddess, who is connected to Moon Knight, seemingly immortal and possesses the ability to control glass. Number 9. Storm. While Storm might not be a god in the traditional sense, she was worshipped as a weather goddess for quite a while because of her abilities. And considering how powerful she is and how much we all love her, I think we would all agree that she has more than earned her goddess status. When it comes to Storm's power levels, we have seen them spike to the point that the whole world was affected by her weather manipulation abilities. At the same time that this happened, as a reaction to her then claustrophobia, her power was also likened to that of the Phoenix, partially because it was so awesome and partially because it was so volatile. Over the years, Storm has gained more and more control over her powers and also healed from the trauma that caused her claustrophobia, meaning that she is pretty much in full control now. And she proved more recently in the comics during her battle against Tarn the Uncaring that she also doesn't need her mutant powers to be a deadly badass. Also, I feel like she's definitely in control of the ability to just manipulate weather on a planetary level, because we've seen her do that with Mars. At least I'm pretty sure she's done that on Mars. So yeah, there's also that. And friends, if you are loving this list and you would love to see some more lists where we get to pump up some of the most powerful ladies in Marvel Comics or DC Comics or indie comics or all of the above, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8. Hera. Hera is a member of the Pantheon of Olympus. She is a Greek goddess who traditionally is associated in Greek mythology and belief with motherhood, family, childbirth, and marriage. In Marvel, she is likewise the wife of Zeus, but more recently in the comics, her and the other Olympians took a turn to become powerful villains. They were killed by the vengeful goddess Nyx and later returned as tyrannical and greedy gods who raised planets with a vengeance. In the end, they were defeated by the Guardians of the Galaxy, lost as Star-Lord was lost on the other side of reality. Eventually though, Star-Lord learned the Dark Olympians had escaped due to him using his elemental gun, where their power had been trapped and stored. They returned with him back to Earth and were more permanently defeated, at least so it seems, when they were seemingly killed by the Guardians, Hera included. She was squashed in the end by Groot. R.I.P. Hera. Number 7. Hela. Hela is the ruler of the Norse and Asgardian underworld. While in the MCU we know her as Loki and Thor's mysterious sister who was locked away in punishment for her continuous pursuit of war against Odin's wishes after he ultimately decided to kinda usher in an era of peace. In the comics main continuity of Earth 616, she is not Thor's sister, but instead, she's his niece. That's right, the Hela of Earth 616 is believed to be one of Loki's children, his daughter. She ended up becoming the ruler of the underworld as was decreed by Odin. Though just because she isn't a shunned sister who seeks revenge on Asgard doesn't mean that she isn't a villain, and doesn't mean that she doesn't sometimes try to seek revenge on Asgard. Even on Earth 616, Hela is known for her generally villainous intentions, and there was even a prophecy when she was born warning that she would be a great danger to the other gods and goddesses of Asgard. Number 6. Enchantress. Amora the Enchantress is one of the most powerful magic users in the Marvel Universe, and also happens to be a goddess within the realm of Asgard. She has been known by many names other than Amora, including Idun and Idunna, but what she has symbolized has always remained the same. Enchantress is meant to be the symbol of the perfect female form, known for her beauty and charm, which allows her to bend others, especially men, to her will. It is because of her beauty that Enchantress was deemed the only one to pick the golden apples from Yggdrasil. Although her backstory and origin are steeped in lore and Norse mythology, in the comics most people know her mainly as a villainess, who often goes up against the hero Thor, among others. Number 5. Aegis. Aegis is one of the Proemil gods who are known for being the oldest in the cosmos. They are believed to have come into existence right after the first Big Bang, and were possibly the first entities that existed after that. Although, to be honest with you, with gods and goddesses, it seems like a lot of groups claim to be the oldest or the first. Aegis was one member of the Proemil pantheon to become corrupted, seeking new purpose after she was no longer needed. Attempting to rise up with her fellow rebellious gods, she ended up imprisoned along with her peers by Galactus, and she remained there for many years, although she would eventually escape and would later perish. Her power was said to rival that of Galactus and his heralds combined. That's pretty powerful. Number 4. Phoenix. One of the most powerful entities in the cosmos is the Phoenix Force. While the Phoenix doesn't always take a female host, I would say that many of the Force's hosts have been female, especially if we're focusing on the more notable ones. Currently in the comics, the Phoenix Force is bonded to Echo, aka hero Maya Lopez, but its most well-known host is probably that of Marvel Girl, aka classic X-Men teammate Jean Grey. You might not think of Phoenix as a god either, but the entity has been worshipped both by some on planet Earth in the past and by the Shi'ar at one point. Number 3. Celestial Madonna. Celestials are known for being all-powerful and almost impossible to defeat or fight against. We got our first taste of just how ginormous and seemingly unstoppable they can be in Eternals when the team of heroes decided to stand together to prevent the Celestials from destroying Earth, which they had decided to defend as their home. Most Celestials tend to skew male or simply could be considered to be without gender, but Celestial Madonna is unique as she is one of the few featured Celestials to actually have a seemingly female form. Celestial Madonna has only appeared in a few issues, but she is a Celestial, so we can imagine that she must be one of the most powerful, probably female, gods or goddesses around in the Marvel Universe. Cause Celestials. Number 2. Gaia. Gaia is literally known as Mother Earth in the Marvel Universe. She made her first appearance back in the 1970s in the 1974 series of Doctor Strange, in issue number 6. Back then she was introduced as Mother Nature, but would later become known as Gaia. Gaia is believed to be one of the oldest goddesses on the planet Earth and is related to the god of chaos, Chthon, who is also known for his ties to Avengers Scarlet Witch in the comics. Gaia belongs to the family of elder gods, and like many on this list, is going to be kinda hard to rank because she's pretty much maxed in almost all stats, considering that she is an extremely ancient being and entity. Basically, I feel like with this list, it's really hard to put them in any order because you're like, I mean, they're all pretty powerful. So yeah, you can let me know if you have a different order for the ones that I have here based on what you've read in the comics about them. Number 1. Death. Death is an entity we are familiar with in a few different forms, but for this point I'm going to be focusing on the version that Thanos is typically seen pining after, which is honestly typically the version we associate with Death when we're talking about her in the Marvel Universe. Sometimes referred to as Mistress Death, she made her first appearance in Marvel Mystery Comics issue number 21 back in the 1940s. So not only is she old and ancient in the world of the Marvel Universe, but also within Marvel Comics history as well.
You asked, we answered. You loved the Marvel version so much, so we are back, but this time with a look into the powerful women of the DC Universe. So let's get into it. Number 10. Princess Amethyst. Princess Amethyst is one of the most powerful characters in the DC Universe due to her unique heritage and vast magical abilities. She is the princess of Gem World, a mystical world where magic is drawn from gemstones. In the New Earth continuity, after her parents were eliminated by the villainous Dark Opal, Amethyst was sent to Earth and raised as a human, unaware of her true identity until her 13th birthday. Upon returning to Gem World, she embraced her role as protector and leader, wielding powerful magic, mastering swordsmanship, and commanding political authority over the realm. What sets Amethyst apart is her status as a Lord of Order, a rare magical entity with a human form, granting her extraordinary powers such as telekinesis, dimensional travel, astral projection, and high-level sorcery. Throughout her storylines, she has defeated intimidating villains, including the Lords of Chaos, and even merged with Gemworld itself to maintain balance. Her combination of royal lineage, magical prowess, and warrior skills makes her an underrated yet powerful force in the DC Universe. Number 9. Pandora. Pandora, as in the famous Pandora with the box, does not get the credit that she deserves in the DC Universe. Pandora is a very powerful character due to her immortality, extensive knowledge of magic, and mastery of martial arts and weaponry. Cursed by the Circle of Eternity, she possesses a unique physiology that grants her abilities beyond those of many other characters, making her an intimidating foe. Pandora's powers include not just the ability to understand all languages, but also something called the Voice. Because she's been alive for so long, she's learned some pretty neat tricks. With the Voice, she can briefly control another being's actions. Most notably, she became the vessel for the Light of Hope while battling the villain Blight. She literally became the representation of the goodness in humanity, and with that came some sick new armor, and also the ability to manipulate light light energy into constructs. Number 8. Star Sapphire. Star Sapphire is one of DC's most powerful characters due to her connection to the violet light of the emotional spectrum, which represents love. Her powers include creating energy constructs, force fields, energy projection, flight, and advanced healing abilities, such as healing wounds and even resurrecting the dead. However, there is a catch with that one. She can only resurrect the person if there is a strong love connection between them and someone nearby. So she essentially links these two bodies together by their hearts and just magically makes it happen. Star Sapphire's unique ability to crystallize enemies in violet constructs effectively immobilizes and neutralizes threats, while her healing powers provide substantial support to allies. As the leader and queen of the Star Sapphire Corps, Carol Ferris wields powers that rival those of the Green Lantern Corps, balancing offensive crowd control with potent healing and support, making her a powerful force in the DC universe. We had Star Sapphire, and now it is Starfire's time to shine at number 7. Starfire has powers unlike any other because of her alien physiology, which allows her to constantly absorb ultraviolet radiation and convert it to energy, granting her superhuman abilities. She can fly at supersonic speeds and even travel through space. This energy also gives her incredible strength and durability. Starfire can release her stored energy as powerful blasts called Starbolts. She is also a proficient hand-to-hand combatant, some versions of the character trained by the warlords of Akara, other versions trained in the practice since childhood. Either way, she was transformed into a terrifying force on the battlefield. Starfire can unleash all of her stored energy in a massive, omnidirectional explosive burst, rivaling the power of a supernova, though this leaves her weakened. Some experiments were performed on her that do set her apart even from her own people, as they made her immune to technology that would normally strip her of her powers. Number 6. Lady Shazam, or Mary Shazam. Mary Bromfield, also known as Lady Shazam or Mary Marvel, is recognized as one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her divine empowerment and the vast magical abilities that she commands. Originally, Mary gained her powers from a similar mystical source like her adopted brother, Billy Shazam, granting her superhuman strength, flight, invulnerability, superhuman agility, super speed, living lightning, and a healing factor. In recent storylines, Mary has distinguished herself further by receiving a unique set of powers directly from a pantheon of goddesses, and please help me with the pronunciation here, so including the agility of Selene, the strength of Hippolyta, the stamina of Artemis, the flight of Zephyrus, the invulnerability of Aurora, and the wisdom of Minerva. But that makes her abilities both distinct and on par with, if not exceeding, those of her brother. This new empowerment not only solidifies her independence as a hero, but also showcases her worthiness and maturity, as her powers were given in recognition of her selflessness and bravery. Number 5. Zatanna. Zatanna stands among the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her mastery of magic, her heritage as a homo magi, and her unique ability to cast spells by speaking commands backwards that make them more powerful. Her powers are extraordinarily versatile, ranging from elemental manipulation and telekinesis to teleportation, mind control, reality alteration, and even time and dimensional travel. Zatanna's magic is so potent that she has performed feats such as healing grievous injuries instantly, wiping Batman's memory, altering personalities, and opening portals across space and time with apparent ease. Her deep knowledge of magical lore and threats, combined with her quick thinking and confidence, make her an irreplaceable asset in battles against mystical and cosmic dangers. Despite vulnerabilities like her magic typically relying on her ability to speak in order to work its best, Zatanna's capacity to reshape reality itself and contend with the universe's most terrifying beings proves that she is one of DC's supreme magicians and most powerful heroes. Number 4. Big Barda. A new god from Apocalypse, Big Barda is not to be trifled with. Raised in the brutal world run by Darkseid, Barda became the leader of the Female Furies, the most feared warriors in a world renowned for its cruelty and strength, so clearly she was very good at both of those things. Her new god physiology grants her superhuman strength, along with near invulnerability, immortality, and enhanced agility, stamina, and reflexes. Barda is a master combatant and expert swordswoman able to fight Wonder Woman to a standstill, and her advanced battle armor further enhances her durability. She wields the Mega Rod, a powerful weapon capable of firing devastating energy blasts, manipulating gravity, and enabling teleportation, making her a threat to even the most powerful foes. Barda's combination of raw power, advanced technology, and unmatched combat skill solidifies her status as one of DC's most formidable heroes. She was a villain, I mean you have no choice when your leader is Darkseid, until she fell in love with Miracle Man and left all the bad stuff behind her, and now she is a force for good. Thank God. Number 3. Supergirl. Supergirl, known as Kara Zor-El, is one of the most powerful characters in the DC universe due to her Kryptonian physiology and exposure to a yellow sun, which grants her abilities comparable and in some cases exactly the same as Superman's. She possesses virtually nearly unlimited strength, stamina, and near invulnerability, along with super speed, flight, and a variety of enhanced senses such as X-ray, heat, telescopic, microscopic, and infrared vision. Additionally, she has super breath and freeze breath, a bioelectric aura that enhances her durability, and an effectively immortal lifespan without the need for food, water, or sleep. Her healing factor allows her to recover almost instantaneously from injuries, should she get them, that is, and her powers can increase with prolonged exposure to solar radiation. Unlike Superman, who often suppresses his full power, Supergirl tends to use her abilities at full strength, sometimes making her appear even more powerful. Her unique combination of raw power, versatile abilities, and Kryptonian heritage, including memories of Kryptonian culture, make her one of the most powerful figures in the DC Comics universe. Number 2. Raven. Raven's powers are nearly unmatched in the DC universe due to her unique heritage as the daughter of the demon Trigon and a human mother, which grants her an extraordinary blend of demonic and empathetic abilities. Her core power is her soul self, an astral projection that can travel great distances, become intangible, absorb energy, and mentally subdue enemies. This soul self also serves as a protective shield and allows her to teleport herself and others across dimensions. Beyond this, Raven is a master of mystic arts, wielding chaos magic that lets her perform a wide array of magical feats without traditional incantations, including telekinesis, shadow manipulation, hypnosis, and healing. Her empathetic powers enable her to sense and manipulate emotions, and even absorb pain and disease from others. Raven's combination of powerful magic, psychic abilities, and her struggle to control her demonic side make her a strong and complex hero, recognized as one of the Teen Titans' most powerful members and a key figure in teams like the Justice League Dark. And finally, number 1, Wonder Woman. Like, who else was going to take the top spot today? Wonder Woman is one of DC's heaviest hitters thanks to her divine heritage, the extensive array of God-given abilities that she possesses, and the years of trainings that she's had. Created from clay and brought to life by the Greek gods, she essentially embodies the strengths and gifts of deities like Aphrodite, Athena, and Demeter. Her superhuman strength rivals that of Superman, enabling her to lift thousands of tons and engage in combat with other gods and top-tier heroes. She also has superhuman speed, agility, and reflexes, allowing her to sometimes keep pace with the Flash and react faster than most opponents. Her durability is exceptional, resistant to extreme temperatures, concussive forces, and magical attacks, though she does remain vulnerable to piercing weapons. Beyond physical prowess, Wonder Woman wields magical items like the Lasso of Truth, which compels honesty, and indestructible bracelets that can deflect bullets and energy blasts. Additionally, she possesses divine wisdom, healing abilities, magical abilities, and enhanced senses granted by the gods, making her a fierce warrior and tactician. She was actually one of the 5 that the goddess of magic stored her magic in for safekeeping. Her combat skills, combined with her supernatural powers and moral conviction, position her as a key defender of justice and one of the most powerful superheroes in the entire DC universe. As the wise Mrs. Incredible once said, "Leave the saving of the world to the men?" I don't think so. Today we are counting down some of the most powerful female superheroes that Marvel has ever come up with. Number 10, Polaris. Polaris, as the daughter of Magneto, it's understandable that she would be wickedly powerful. Her real name is Lorna Dane. She is considered an alpha-level mutant, renowned for her mastery over magnetism. She inherited her father's terrifying abilities, quite frankly, allowing her to manipulate magnetic fields, control metal, generate force fields, and even fly by riding magnetic currents. Polaris can unleash devastating electromagnetic pulses, disrupt electronic systems, and assemble complex machinery with a mere thought. Her powers have proven crucial in countless battles alongside the X-Men and X-Factor, and her control has grown to rival that of her legendary father. In a terrifying display of her abilities, Polaris once manipulated the iron in an entire crowd of people's blood, making them all pass out by reversing the flow direction. Beyond her raw power, Lorna's intelligence and resilience makes her a menacing force both as a leader and protector of mutant kind. Number 9, another mutant, Rogue. Rogue, Miss Anna Marie, is one of Marvel's most powerful, complex, and fan-favorite mutants. As a prominent member of the X-Men from Earth 616, Rogue's signature ability is the power to absorb the memories, abilities, and even life force of others through physical touch. This makes her incredibly dangerous, as she can technically eliminate people without meaning to, but it has also proven to be a strength, as she can temporarily gain the powers of anyone that she comes into contact with, including some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. Most famously, Rogue seemingly permanently absorbed the powers of Carol Danvers, granting her superhuman strength, flight, and near invulnerability in addition to her mutant ability. Her combination of raw power, versatility, and combat skills make her a force to be reckoned with, feared by her enemies, and with her heart, wit, and charm, respected by her allies. Recently, Rogue's powers were increased, and she can absorb power from a distance. Despite the burden of her powers, Rogue remains a heroic figure constantly striving to control her abilities and use them for good. Number 8. The Invisible Woman. Sue Storm is one of Marvel's most powerful superheroes and a founding member of the Fantastic Four. Her powers originated from cosmic radiation that granted her the ability to turn herself and other objects invisible by bending light waves / manipulating ambient cosmic energy. More impressively, Sue can project and manipulate invisible psionic force fields with incredible versatility. These force fields can be shaped into nearly indestructible shields, offensive weapons like darts, or large constructs spanning miles, capable of levitating or protecting entire buildings. She can even block out the sunlight for a few days, which she did do and accidentally caused a mass extinction event as expected. Sue's force fields also provide mental protection against telepathic attacks and can interact with other psychic energies. Her power level is so formidable that even Doctor Doom has acknowledged her as the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four, and she has feats such as holding back explosions, defeating powerful foes solo, and even rupturing the shell of a Celestial, which is really hard to do. Her abilities extend beyond invisibility, making her a strategic and devastating force in combat and defense, often underestimated but truly one of Marvel's heaviest hitters. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we are very excited to see the Invisible Woman back on the big screen this summer. Number 7. Sersi. Sersi is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, belonging to the race of superhuman Eternals. Her primary and most dangerous ability is matter transmutation, allowing her to rearrange the molecular and atomic structure of both living and non-living matter with a skill far surpassing any other Eternal. This power enables her to permanently transform objects and beings even down to the subatomic level, making her a unique 5th level adept in this domain. Besides her transmutation skills, Sersi possesses superhuman strength, agility, telekinesis, telepathy, and the ability to project cosmic energy, granting her virtual immortality and invulnerability. She can also cast illusions and control minds and teleport, although the teleportation stuff is kind of unpleasant for her. Her powers have earned her a place among the Avengers and recognition as one of the most powerful Avengers and Eternals. Notably, her molecular manipulation is so advanced that even the Eternal leader feared her capabilities, and she's been ranked highly in power among her peers. Number 6. America Chavez. America Chavez is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. I know we say that about everybody, but I really do mean it. Endowed with a unique set of superhuman abilities that make her nearly indestructible. She possesses superhuman strength and speed and durability. She can survive unaided in the vacuum of space. Her signature power is the ability to create star-shaped portals that allow her to travel across dimensions in the multiverse, making her one of the few heroes capable of interdimensional travel at will. America also has hypercosmic awareness, enabling her to sense disruptions in space and time and navigate the multiverse with precision. She can channel extra-dimensional energy to enhance her physical attacks, sometimes releasing powerful energy blasts capable of injuring cosmic-level beings like Captain Marvel. Additionally, America Chavez has an extended lifespan and is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant. Loki has described her as a nearly indestructible woman who can throw tanks at the moon, underscoring her immense strength and resilience. Overall, America Chavez stands out as an intimidating cosmic hero with vast powers that extend beyond physical might, to include reality bending and multiversal travel. Halfway point, number 5, Kismet, or Her, literally Her. Kismet is an extraordinarily powerful cosmic being in the Marvel Universe, created through advanced genetic engineering by the Enclave. Her cells function as cosmic energy batteries, enabling her to absorb and store and manipulate vast amounts of cosmic energy for multiple effects, such as projecting concussive force blasts, levitating objects using anti-gravitons, rearranging matter on a molecular level, and generating rifts into warp space for near instantaneous travel. She possesses superhuman strength, capable of pressing 70 tons, can fly at speeds of Mach 10, and survive the vacuum of space without fatigue or aging. Kismet also has limited telepathic abilities, including understanding pretty much any language and also mind control. When severely injured, she can encase herself in a regenerative cosmic cocoon to heal. Her durability is so high that only attacks dispersing a significant portion of her molecules can actually harm her. She has faced and battled some of the most daunting cosmic threats, including Galactus and Thanos and intergalactic forces, underscoring her status as the world-ending level threat protector. My pronouns are she, but not her, because I could never be her. Number 4, possibly the most powerful mutant ever, we have Storm, also known as Aurora Monroe. Classified as an Omega level mutant due to her vast and versatile abilities to control the weather and atmosphere on a global and even extraterrestrial scale. She can manipulate temperature, precipitation, humidity, wind, lightning, and atmospheric pressure, enabling her to summon storms such as tornadoes or hurricanes, blizzards, and thunderstorms with precision and devastating effects. Beyond weather control, Storm can generate and channel electrical energy, fly by riding wind currents, and even manipulate air pressure inside of a person's body to cause pain. Her powers extend to cosmic phenomena, including solar winds and electromagnetic fields, and she can survive and operate in extreme environments. Additionally, Storm has a strong will that makes her resistant to psychic attacks and enhances her combat skills, making her a skilled fighter trained by several different heroes. Recently, she had also tapped into her magical abilities inherited from her ancestral lineage, allowing her to perform extraordinary feats such as opening controlled portals or pushing her new power beyond typical Omega level limits and potentially making her the strongest member of the X-Men. Her combination of mutant and magical powers, along with her traditional acumen, cements Storm's status as one of Marvel's most powerful and iconic characters. Number 3. Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, is an incredibly powerful Kree-human hybrid. Her powers stem from her hybrid physiology, which grants her the superhuman strength, stamina, agility, durability, and reflexes. She can fly at interplanetary speeds without the need for oxygen, survive in the vacuum of space, of course, and manipulate cosmic energy to generate devastating photon blasts capable of destroying enemy ships or powerful foes. Her strength is immense, she can support the weight of a celestial, and when fully empowered, can unleash energy blasts equivalent to nuclear explosions. Additionally, Captain Marvel possesses a regenerative healing factor that allows her to recover rapidly from injuries and also has a form of de-accelerated aging. She can absorb various forms of energy, enhancing her physical abilities and energy projection, and can temporarily transform into her binary form, which further amplifies her powers. Her seventh sense, because she's so cool, she doesn't even have a sixth one, she has a seventh sense, grants her a form of cosmic awareness, making her highly perceptive of threats. Trained as a pilot, spy, and combatant, she combines these skills with her vast powers to protect the universe on a cosmic scale. Number 2. Jean Grey. Of course Jean Grey is here, she has to be. Jean Grey is one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe, there's no ands, if, buts about it. Classified as an Omega level mutant due to her extraordinary telepathic and telekinetic abilities. As a telepath, she can read and manipulate minds, project her thoughts into others, create illusions, mentally stun opponents, and form psychic links, even communicating with animals of high intelligence. Her telekinesis allows her to fly, move, or manipulate objects and beings, create force fields, and project concussive blasts. When bonded with the cosmic Phoenix Force, her powers escalate to near godlike levels. She gains total telekinetic control over matter at the molecular level, can generate and absorb vast energies, convert her form to pure energy, manipulate space-time, and resurrect the deceased under certain conditions. The Phoenix Force manifests as a fiery cosmic bird around her, symbolizing her immense power. This combination makes Jean Grey a near unstoppable force capable of feats such as defeating cosmic entities like Galactus, eliminating entire solar systems, and reshaping reality itself. Now, I knew when I was making this list that the number 1 spot would go to none other than Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. It's near impossible to find someone that compares to the Scarlet Witch's powers in the Marvel Universe or in the MCU. She wields a unique blend of mutant abilities and chaos magic that allows her to alter reality itself. Initially introduced with the power to manipulate probability through hexes, she evolved into an intimidating sorceress capable of warping the fabric of existence on a quantum level. Her chaos magic, bestowed by the demon Chthon, grants her the ability to reshape reality, creating highly realistic illusions and manipulate energy and matter with devastating effects. She has demonstrated power on par with cosmic entities, even resisting the Phoenix Force, one of the universe's most potent forces. Scarlet Witch can teleport across dimensions in time, control outcomes of events, and turn enemies' powers against them. Her reality-altering abilities were famously showcased in the House of M storyline, where she rewrote the world to her will, underscoring her status as the near omnipotent force within the Marvel Universe. This combination of mutant genes and mastery of chaos magic places her in today's top spot as the most powerful superhero.